There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi guys, we're still here at Wild Bull Campground. I've pulled Julie aside because she's got a wonderful story to tell. And she's the only one that's actually swung off the tree swing this weekend so far. Yeah.
Not very eloquently.
Not very eloquently, but doesn't matter.
But doesn't matter. I still
She's
did
the
it.
only one that has done it. So, and there's some guys down there now that are like in their like 20 years old, and they're balking at it, and we're going, have a go. Julie did it. Oh dear. So
Which is funny.
But yeah, I wanted to talk to, as you know, this channel's about women over 50 going out and exploring whatever it is they want to explore, but just having a go, getting out there in nature, and whether it's kayaking, cycling, walking, bushwalking, camping, whatever it is you feel that you would like to do, and maybe you used to do it as a young person. Maybe, and actually Julie's fairly recently single.
Yep.
Through a divorce, and you know, so that there's lots of factors that come into why maybe we don't do something, but that the same reason can be why you should do it. So
yeah, so
tell us your story, Julie.
Well, yeah, like you said, I separated from my husband 3 years ago, and camping and getting out and amongst the nature was never something that we did. It was all, it was going to see family, or it was staying in resorts, which was fine, and and that's fun. But once the separation started, a good friend of mine, who's a good friend of yours, Jackie, got me out, and I think it was probably 2 weeks after
we went kayaking.
After I separated from, my husband moved out of the house, and you and Jackie said, we've got a surprise for you, and I went, yeah, no. And you said, Jackie just said, get your swimmers and come with us, and I went, I don't think so. But anyway, I came, I gave in, which was hard. It's like
Jackie can be very persuasive.
Very persuasive.
As you may have already guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that day, we went kayaking.
Yes.
And you had a kayak, Carol, and Jackie had a kayak.
Yes.
I didn't, so we had a spare one. And then that day we went down the Bongo National Park and
the river.
Yeah, and we kayaked for the day, and then I was sold. It was like, oh yeah, I love this. This is great.
And since then,
and I think that was about September of that year, and then by December, my daughter and daughter-in-law surprised me with a kayak. And since that day, the kayak has been in the back of my Tucson, and it lives there, so I can go from my office, where I work in disabilities, straight down to the creek, go kayaking. In Coffs Harbour, it's from the ocean, so you need to watch your tides.
You can use a kayak.
Things like that, and you can use a kayak. So that's something became, and I'm not physical, I was born with a disability, I was born spina bifida. So there's all sorts of complications around, especially camping, around that sort of what I need to do for me to be able to come out like with Carol and Jackie especially to something so isolated like this. That's a whole nother episode within itself.
But a lot of people our age do have disabilities, and some, like I've said before, Jackie's got a knee problem, I've got friends with hip problems, and Julie's got one that's just been with her entire life, which is a little bit different, but it's still, these things are things that we need to be able to
prepare before, like I have to very much prepare before you know, it's like, oh, yep, Carol's at Wild Bull. All right, so what do I need to do before I need to leave and pack to go for like 3 days, 5 days, 2 days? So depending on my needs
Yep.
is what I need to prepare for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
Yeah. To make your
To be able to stay
journey,
here and
yeah,
enjoy
your
it.
journey out into nature as comfortable as possible and without any.
Yeah, and to join in what everyone else is doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And
is, you know, I'm jumping off swings.
she's been swimming and
Swimming.
sitting in spa holes.
Make But, you know, now, I've never been a very physical person because of my disability. Much younger I was, but now I find that when I'm out doing this, I'm being physical without really having that knowledge of being physical, without trying to be physical, because you are enjoying the outdoors so much. I mean, you're walking, you're swimming, you're exercising, and you know you're doing good for your body, but you don't feel like it. I just feel like I'm here for a 3-day fun camping day,
Yeah.
but I am more physical here for those 3 days than I am any other time during the week at work.
Yeah. And you're not even trying to be. It's just,
Not even
it's just what
trying.
you do.
Exactly.
Just getting down to the river, it's like you got to climb. Do
I
a bit
mean,
of climbing.
yeah, climbing down to the river, going down to find a new water hole. It's all physical, and it's not like you know we're trying to be physical. Like the problem is I just don't have the opportunity to do it as often as I would like, which we've talked about. Like you know, let's
So for you, it's the kayaking is the main thing, and that's causing a bit of an issue at the moment. Is that right?
yes. Well,
She's hurt her shoulder as
last summer, because my kayak is shoved through my car, and I have to lift my kayak.
What she means is that you lift up the back hatch and slide it through
Yeah.
over the front seat, which is
Yeah.
lined back. Is that
So
right?
yeah, so if you look at
Not on the roof because she
no,
can't get
I
it on
can't
the roof.
reach the roof. So if I lift up my boot and put my back seats down, my kayak goes from the boot up to the passenger side in the front,
Yeah.
and it fits. But to lift that is okay. However, you have to get it on an angle that where you can still see out of your rear vision mirror and be able to drive the car safely. So
You've still got two other mirrors,
you do,
Julie.
yes. And I have a car that is not old, and I have a monitor,
Oh, reverse camera.
reverse camera.
Yeah.
However,
You just like to be able to see out.
yeah. But when I was shifting, it wasn't like, where are we now? We're 2024, so 2023, my first kayak for the summer. Put my kayak in, all good, go down to the creek. I must have been, I know, I got my kayak out, went for a 5K paddle.
Wow, did you?
Yep. There's no time limit on the 5K paddle,
No.
mind you.
Not all day.
It's just I've got all day today. Anyway, getting up and putting it in, I remember that day it was like, oh, it was sort of like, it was a little bit close to me when I was driving, so I had to lift it and turn it so it was facing the other way, which was fine, and I thought it was okay. Shut my boot, went home. That whole week I went, oh, I'm a bit sore in both my shoulders, and I thought, oh, it's just summer. I'm just a bit sore because I haven't done my rowing and kayaking for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't paddled for a while. After a couple of weeks, my right shoulder was fine. My left shoulder,
Not so much?
not so much. Ended up going to my GP and getting an ultrasound, and I've actually not torn, but ripped, just slightly ripped the tendon. in
Just
my-
by just by twisting your
just
kayak.
by twisting and lifting. Yeah. So I've had, and that was like January at the start of this year. So I ended up getting a cortisone shot to see how I would go, and I haven't had a shot since then. There's definitely discomfort there, but my goal is, like, now that it's coming into summer in Australia, I want to see how I would go paddling.
Oh, so you didn't paddle at all last summer?
Didn't do it after that
Oh.
because it was so sore.
Yeah.
And once I found out that there was a tendon and you can make it worse,
Oh, okay.
I thought, well, I really shouldn't be doing it to make it worse, because then you're having a whole shoulder reconstruction,
Oh, okay.
and there's 6 weeks off.
From a tear.
Yeah,
Okay.
from a tear.
Yeah.
And there's, 6 weeks off work, blah, blah, blah. So I went, I went to physio
Yep.
and got some physio exercises, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's really improved. It hasn't gotten worse.
Yeah. So what would you say to people that, are trying to do that and that happens and it's like, oh, damn, I can't do it now?
Look,
Like, how did that make
Yeah.
you feel?
it was horrible. Like, not to be able to go out kayaking that summer.
Because now you really love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It made me depressed. I got
Yeah.
depressed, and I ended up at home going, well, there's nothing else for me, because that was my thing.
Yeah.
Going out, I had my kayak in the car.
And you can do it independently.
Yeah, I was going out 5 days a week, especially after work, even if the tide was low.
Yeah.
I would, like, get out of the kayak and push it until I could get to water where I could
She
paddle.
became a fanatic, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And I still love it now.
Yeah.
But after having the summer off, and I'm going to try it again. I'm determined.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even if I have to look at ways how to help me with the kayak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about maybe getting something to hoist it up onto the
To
roof.
hoist it up
for
on
you?
the roof
Yeah.
and hoist it down. I mean, pulling it down towards the water was never a problem. It was always lifting and putting it into the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So wheels, something with wheels.
Something with
And
wheels.
there are kayak wheels, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much a no-brainer, really. You really need that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then something to help with the hoisting onto the roof.
Onto the roof. And I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest part, because,
Even though it fits inside.
Hyundai Tucson's aren't that big a car.
No, but big enough.
But
Obviously.
big enough to fit it in.
Yeah.
But you've still got to do that whole lifting and
Yeah. Is your
yeah.
kayak like my kayak? The smaller one?
Yeah.
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 And I bought mine. Jackie's got a bigger one,
Yeah.
which is probably more buoyant,
Yep.
but there's no way I could lift that onto the roof of my car. And she can't lift it onto the roof
No.
of her car.
I could not lift this
No.
onto. I mean,
I
just-
can lift mine onto
Yeah.
the roof of my car, but like I've got good upper
Yeah.
body strength.
So do I,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
But you've got a bad
especially
shoulder
now,
now.
I've got a bad
Yeah.
shoulder. But even because I had no problem. I mean, for the year before, like 3 months of summer, I was in there pulling it out, pulling it in, pulling it out, and had no problem.
Yeah.
It was just that one time I ended up being so awkward.
Just twisted.
It just
Yeah.
tore the tendon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How you going? Okay, we're back.
Oh, well, I'm taller than you at the moment.
Yeah, that's because I'm standing in a hole. Okay, we're back. I'm letting her be tall. 'Cause she's actually
Very
pretty
short.
That's okay. You can be tall today.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we got interrupted before when we were talking about getting the kayak in and out of the car and all her shoulder injuries and whatnot. But yeah, so I just wanted to thank Julie for being so open and honest with us, because it's something that all of us have to deal with, I guess, at some point in time. And if you can't do things by yourself, ask for help. try mechanical means of doing things if that works. Anything else you'd like to finish up with?
I don't think so. It's just, again, like if you have physical disabilities, you just have to take that extra time to ensure you have the extra measures, not just your camping gear, but anything you may need for whatever diagnosis or injury you may have.
Yeah.
Because it's really important if you're stuck out here and you don't have that medication or that equipment or anything you need, that's what becomes even more problematic.
Yeah, and most importantly, do everything at your own pace and at your own ability, and don't worry about anybody else. You know, they've got their own issues. You'll probably find. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, yeah, we're heading off today because it's actually the next morning from when we started this conversation. Yeah, some of our neighbours came up to share our fire for a little while, so that was nice. Anyway, we're just tearing down camp, and we just thought I wanted to thank Julie. So
Anytime.
on the road again.
Just can't wait to get back on the road again.